Hi kids, welcome to another Crafts with Bill program. This month for October we're going to be doing these lovely quill paper apples. The instructions are pretty easy. You can stop by the Lisbon Library Children's Room and pick up a kit which contains a bunch of strips of paper. You will have to provide some white glue and something to wrap the paper around, such as a paintbrush or a stick or something. But we'll get right into it. The first thing you want to do is gently curl a couple of red strips, and you can just sort of bend them until they start curling a little bit. And it's not much of a curl. You can adjust it a little bit as you go along. And then place it on your paper. And then do a second one for the other half of the apple. And then you're going to do the leaves and the stem. So for the leaves, I folded one of the long green ones in half, like that, to make it a little shorter. And then you can curl it however you want. You can either do round curls, or you can make more of a pointy shape. And I just did two of them, one on each end. So you have something that's like that. You can see they're sort of flopping around there, but eventually the glue will hold them together. And then the brown strip of paper, I only used half of it. I folded it in half, gave it a little bit of a curl just for fun. You can do a little bit, maybe you can see there at the end, it's got a little fold. So you have your leaves, and then the stem will go in between those eventually. And you're going to lay all those out on your paper to get an idea of how big you want your apple to be. And then the next step is the fun part, because you're just going to take different colors. Mostly red is included in the kit, but you can also use some yellow or the light green. And you're just going to do a bunch of curls, and the easiest way is just to sort of take one of the strips and wrap it around the paintbrush or whatever stick you have, and just sort of tightly wrap it around there, keeping it as even as possible so it's not making a strange tube there. Hopefully you can see, I'm just trying to keep that right there. And you just wrap it all the way up. I only did that one part of the way. You'll see it's pretty tight. You can then sort of loosen it a little bit and stretch it back out. And you can do a bunch of those however you want. You can wrap it on one end and then wrap it towards it on the other end. You can make more of an S shape by wrapping it the opposite direction on the other half. And you can wrap them in a tight curl or a loose curl, and basically just add them however you want. And as you start curling those, you're just going to drop them into your shape on the paper and slowly fill up until you have enough that fills up the whole apple. Don't apply any glue yet, because you want to see how many you need to fill in that space. Make sure it's lying flat. It'll help a lot. If it does help, sometimes you could glue the edges on first by brushing a little glue on just on the edges, let it dry, and that way it'll be easier to work in. But I just did them all at the same time. You can spread the different colors out, experiment with different shapes. You can See, this one I did a little V shape. You could even tuck another one in there if you wanted to. I like having a mix of the densely coiled ones like this and some of the more open ones like this. Gives it a little more variety. Once you have all of your shapes filled in there and you're happy with how they look, leave them in place and take one out at a time, and you're just going to dip that into a little dish filled with white glue. It doesn't have to be a lot of white glue, but you're just going to take that and you just tap it in so that glue coats the bottom edges of that curl, and then put it back into place, and then move on to the next curl until all of them are attached to the paper. Make sure you add the leaves and the stem in there as well. And if you want to, you can mount this on a colored piece of paper that's bigger to give you a little border around the edge. But it's definitely not necessary. It's definitely a cute thing. You can also add some markers or crayons on the outside and do a little scene in the background, maybe some fall leaves, different colors. But it's just a basic little paper craft that's a lot of fun to do. It's very relaxing to make those curls go different ways and fit them in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We will have those kits, which is basically a bunch of strips of paper, available at the children's room at the Lisbon Library while they last. But it's easy enough. I used strips of paper cut into half-inch strips. You could even do slightly wider ones if you wanted to, but turns out real nice. It makes a great fall decoration. Hope you kids enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Bye.